Part two. Basically, I didn't have a chance to finish the Treaty of Tordesillas, Turtle Island, Tortoise Isles, 1494. I would like to conclude that. Let's do a little recap of what was happening. Couldn't get the video on because I played Budger's song and they said that it's copyright infringement. So I basically had to erase the song and then upload the video again. But we want to, what were we talking about? Basically realizing that
in the fourth quarter,
let's see, realizing that the treaty is very powerful because it actually still exists, right? A lot of people think that America or the US is the one that's in power, but it actually isn't. The one that's in power is Spain. And in 1494, Spain and Portugal divided up the world between the two factions, brother and sister. And then sister screws over brother and gets a northern Germanic tribes to come down and conquer Portugal. So now the Dutch is in control of the eastern side of the world. According to just that's my research. Okay. We do this the ghetto way. Empress, Copper Fox, Wagwan. Respect. But we do it real ghetto here just to show what's going on, right? Let's see. Let's get this right here. Listen carefully.
We're the most powerful country on Earth in 2021 wasn't the United States, but rather Spain. And instead of setting up military bases just in their own country, they also set up bases all around the world. Lots of those bases are in former colonies, but also there's a bunch in the United States. Just imagine this. You zoom into Fayetteville, North Carolina, and you see a huge military base. But it's not a U.S. military base. It's a Spanish base on American soil, with lots of homes for the Spanish soldiers and their families, powerful weapon systems, aircraft, all run by the Spanish military. Go inside of one of these bases and it's all Spanish restaurants. Americans can't come in here unless they work for the Spanish government. And then imagine 100 more of these, all throughout the United States on American soil, and hundreds of more throughout the world. Or shift the scenario a little bit. What if it was a country that wasn't...
Yeah. Now, let's go to the Treaty of Tordesillas, the Treaty of Turtle Island, the Treaty of Tortoise Isles, and go through that. And I'll show you why. Because in 1494, Spain, Isabella and her brother, who was in control of Portugal, and going back before that, the Moors were conquered in a place called Andalusia or Andalus, right? That is what they call Spain. That's what the place they call Spain today, right? So Spain was only created in 1494 or 1492. Okay. They say that uh, if you go back to the video that was there before and watch that one, you'll see that we read the letter or contract that was given to Christopher Columbus to actually explore, conquer, and what do you call it? Explore and conquer the islands or lands that were west of Cape Verde Islands, so the west of Africa. Okay, we're going to go over. Let's see. Let's hear this.
Treaty between Spain and Portugal concluded at Tordesillas, June 7th, 1494.
Now, the thing is, you have to understand, it says concluded at Tordesillas, right? So this contract was concluded in a place they call Tordesillas in Spain, right? But when you look at the wording, it says Tortoise Isles. Now, they say Tordesillas is because the king at the time had a jaw that was huge. Like it was a huge jaw because he was inbred. Majority of the royal families at the time wanted to keep the bloodline pure. Okay. And they would sleep with their sister, their brother, their mother, their father. They would be just like, you know, they didn't want to go outside of their family line, lineage.
Or, published by Avalon Project, Don Ferdinand and Dona Isabella, by the grace of God King and Queen of Castile, Leon, Aragon, Sicily, Granada, Toledo, Valencia, Galicia, Majorca, Seville, Sardinia.
And I would like for you to actually, nonetheless, Wagwan, respect, brethren. I would like for you to listen to the titles because I'm going to play something a little bit later on that was concluded. This is also part of the treaty. And this treaty is, you listen very carefully because the treaty is forever. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, hold on for a second, forever? Forever, ever? And it dawned on me that were these people like vampires? Were they like, you know, like demon worshippers? Were they like magicians or something like that? Because everybody knows, and when it comes to treaties, treaties only have a lifespan of 100 years. Why? Because it's a lease. A treaty is kind of like an agreement for an 100-year period or a time frame or a time period. Hong Kong had to be given back to China because it was a 99-year lease, right? But this one is different.
Cordova, Corsica, Murcia, Jaén, Algarve, Algeciras, Gibraltar, and the Canary Islands. Count and Countess of Barcelona, Lord and Lady of Biscay and Molina, Duke and Duchess of Athens and Neopatras, Count and Countess of Roussillon and Cerdagne, Marquis and Marchioness of Oristano and Gociano, together with the Prince Don John, our very dear and very beloved firstborn son, heir of our aforesaid kingdoms and lordships. Whereas by Don Enrique Enriquez, our chief steward, Don Gutierre de Cardenas, chief commissary of Leon, our chief auditor, and Dr. Rodrigo Maldonado, all members of our council, it was treated, adjusted, and agreed for us and in our name and by virtue of our power with the most serene Dom John, by the grace of God, King of Portugal and of the Algarves on this side and beyond the sea in Africa, Lord of Guinea. Our very dear and very beloved brother, and with Rui de Souza, Lord of Sagres and Berenguel, Dom João de Souza, his son, Chief Inspector of Weights and Measures of the said most serene King our brother, and heirs de Almada, magistrate of the civil cases in his court and member of his desembargo, all members of the council of the aforesaid most serene King our brother, and acting, in his name and by virtue of his power. His ambassadors, who came to us in regard to the controversy over what part belongs to us and what part to the said most serene king our brother, of that which up to this 7th day of the present month of June, the date of this instrument, is discovered in the ocean sea, in which said agreement our aforesaid representatives promised among other things that within a certain term specified in it we should sanction, confirm, swear to, ratify, and approve the above-mentioned agreement in person. We, wishing to fulfill and fulfilling all that which was thus adjusted, agreed upon, and authorized in our name in regard to the above-mentioned, ordered the said instrument of the aforesaid agreement and treaty to be brought before us that we might see and examine it.
So you do realize that this treaty was brought before them. So they actually made that treaty in Tordesillas or Tortoise Isles, okay? And they are now examining this treaty that they made with certain groups in the New World, okay?
The tenor of which, word for word, is as follows. In the name of God Almighty, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, three truly separate and distinct persons.
Three truly and distinct separate persons. Now, when you look at the terminology of persons, right, it means something that's a corporation, okay? Mr. Quantes, wagwan, respect.
And only one divine essence. Be it manifest and known to all who shall see this public instrument, that at the village of Tordesillas, on the 7th day of the month of June, in the year of the nativity of our Lord Jesus Christ 1494.
Now you hear they saying in the year of our Lord Jesus Christ 1494. When was the letter J created? 100 years later.
94. In the presence of us, the secretaries, clerks, and notaries public subscribed below. There being present the Honorable Don Enrique Enriquez, Chief Steward of the very exalted and very mighty princes. The Lord and Lady Don Ferdinand and Dona Isabella, by the grace of God King and Queen of Castile, Leon, Aragon, Sicily, Granada, etc., Don Gutierre de Cardenas, Chief Auditor of the said Lords, the King and Queen, and Dr. Rodrigo Maldonado, all members of the Council of the said Lords, the King and Queen of Castile, Leon, Aragon, Sicily, Granada, etc., their qualified representatives of the one part, and the Honorable Rui de Souza, Lord of Sagres and Berenguel, Don Juan de Souza, his son, Chief Inspector of Weights and Measures of the very exalted and very excellent Lord Dom John, by the grace of God King of Portugal and of the Algarves on this side and beyond the sea in Africa, Lord of Guinea, and heirs de Almada, magistrate of civil cases in his court and member of his desembargo, all of the council of the said Lord King of Portugal, and his qualified ambassadors and representatives, as was proved by both the said parties by means of the letters of authorization and procurations from the said lords their constituents, the tenor of which, word for word, is as follows. Here follow the full powers granted by Ferdinand and Isabella to Don Enrique Enriquez, Don Gutierre de Cardenas, and Dr. Rodrigo Maldonado on June 5, 1494, and the full powers granted by John II to Rui de Souza, João de...
Now, John II, I think, was the king of Italy at the time. So you have to understand, it's Italy, Spain, and Portugal. Now, who conquered the Moors? Let's just say this. It's the northern tribes that conquered the Moors, right? Now, where did they come from? Well, when you look at Spain is here, right above Spain is France.
João de Souza, and heirs Almada on March 8, 1494. Thereupon it was declared by the above-mentioned representatives of the aforesaid King and Queen of Castile, Leon, Aragon, Sicily, Granada, etc., and of the aforesaid King of Portugal and the Algarves, etc. That, whereas a certain controversy exists between the said lords, their constituents, as to what lands, of all those discovered in the ocean sea up to the present day, the date of this treaty, pertained to each one of the said parts respectively. Therefore, for the sake of peace and concord, and for the preservation of the relationship and love of the said King of Portugal for the said King and Queen of Castile, Aragon, etc., it being the pleasure of their highnesses, they, their said representatives, acting in their name and by virtue of their powers herein described, covenanted and agreed that a boundary or straight line be determined and drawn north and south, from pole to pole, on the said ocean sea, from the Arctic to the Antarctic pole. This boundary or line shall be drawn straight, as aforesaid, at a distance of 370 leagues west of the Cape Verde Islands.
370 degrees west of the Cape Verde Islands. Now remember, this is the Catholic Majesties. Straight line, east to west.
Being calculated by degrees, or by any other manner as may be considered the best and readiest, provided the distance shall be no greater than above said. And all lands, both islands and mainlands, found and discovered already, or to be found and discovered hereafter, by the said King of Portugal and by his vessels on this side of the said line and bound determined as above, toward the east, in either north or south latitude, on the eastern side of the said bound provided the said bound is not crossed, shall belong to, and remain in the possession of, and pertain forever to, the said King of Portugal and his successors.
Forever, ever? Forever? Forever, ever? The King of Portugal. So everything east of that line belongs to Portugal forever. So Portugal controls Europe, Africa, Middle East. We're still trying to find the Middle West. If anybody out there can help me find the Middle West, the Middle South, and the Middle North, I would love to find that on the map. Please help me do that. Now, anything east, so that would be India, that would, or I would say Bharat, okay? If ever you go into any of the stores and there is somebody who looks like they're from East Asia, ask them, "You're Bharatian, aren't you?" And roll the tongue. Bharatian. You're Bharatian, aren't you? They'd be like, "How do you know about that?" I say, "No, I just, I study your people." They're like, "Yes, I'm from Bharat." That's what it used to be called before the British Raj and the Hindustanis basically helped to destroy those people. That's what you'd actually get.
And all other lands, both islands and mainlands.
Oh, that would include China, Russia, Japan, Australia, Indonesia, New Zealand. So everything east of the Cape Verde Islands is controlled by Portugal. Now, we'll talk about that after, but that's east of the line.
Found or to be found hereafter, discovered or to be discovered hereafter, which have been discovered or shall be discovered by the said King and Queen of Castile, Aragon, etc., and by their vessels, on the western side of the said bound, determined as above, pertain forever to, the said King and Queen of Castile, Leon, etc., and to their successors. 2. Item. The said representatives promise and affirm by virtue of the powers aforesaid, that from this date no ships shall be dispatched, namely as follows. The said King and Queen of Castile, Leon, Aragon, etc., for this part of the bound, and its eastern side, on this side the said bound, which pertains to the said King of Portugal and the Algarves, etc., nor the said King of Portugal to the other part of the said bound which pertains to the said King and Queen of Castile.
So, west of that line would be Spain. It's controlled by Spain. Now, that would be, today is known as America. But according to this treaty, it is known as Tortoise Islands, the Tortoise Isles, right? Um, you have North, South, and Central America, or Al Marucan, as the what do you call it? The Moorish brothers would call it. Now that why would they take the west side of the Cape Verde Islands? Is because there is it is the largest estate or the largest landmass that basically has the most resources in the whole entire world. Because when you really look at Europe, what kind of resources do they have? Anyone? When you look at Russia, what kind of resources does Russia have? How about China? Maybe coal or wood? Middle East, sand? Africa, diamonds? I haven't. Well, there's a little bit of oil there, but you know, they say there's gold, but whenever you check out any of the mines in Africa, all you see is a whole bunch of like young men going into a hole and pulling out little handfuls of gold. Um, so basically, when Cristobal Colon or Christopher Columbus came to here, everybody was wearing gold. When you look at the mines today, the gold mines today, they're massive. They're actually massive gold mines. There's tons of oil. There's tons of resources, tons of diamonds. Check out any mines. Check out any resources that's in America or Tortoise Islands.
Deal. Aragon, etc., for the purpose of discovering and seeking any mainlands or islands, or for the purpose of trade, barter, or conquest of any kind. But should it come to pass that the said ships of the said King and Queen of Castile, Leon, Aragon, etc., on sailing thus on this side of the said bound, should discover any mainlands or islands in the region pertaining, as above said, to the said King of Portugal, such mainlands or islands shall pertain to and belong forever to the said King of Portugal and his heirs, and their highnesses shall
forever. Forever. That's bold. Like, I mean, when I read Treaty Number 7 for Canada, the first line says, "You will give everything to the Queen forever." And I'm wondering, is the Queen a vampire? Because it seems like that lady is old. She's been around a long time. She's gonna outlive everybody. You see what I'm saying? And to her heirs and to her successors, forever. I'm still wondering when our illustrious leaders are going to come together and create a treaty that is forever. Or are they allied already to the system that basically is oppressing a certain group of people, and they can't really, do that because, 501c3, fuse together to,
I'll order them to be surrendered to him immediately. And if the said ships of the said King of Portugal discover any islands and mainlands in the regions of the said King and Queen of Castile, Leon, Aragon, etc., all such lands shall belong to and remain forever in the possession of the said King and Queen of Castile, Leon, Aragon, etc., and their...
You keep hearing that, right? It will always be in the possession forever. Now, anybody ever seen Poltergeist? Anyone? Poltergeist? Everybody's seen Poltergeist. When that little girl was possessed. You ever bought a house and you have a mortgage and they ask you, when do you get possession? When do you become a ghost in your own house? Hmm?
And their heirs. And the said King of Portugal shall cause such lands to be surrendered immediately. 3. Item. In order that the said line or bound of the said division may be made straight and as nearly as possible the said distance of 370 leagues west of the Cape Verde Islands, as hereinbefore stated, the said representatives of both the said parties agree and assent that within the 10 months immediately following the date of this treaty their said constituent lords shall dispatch 2 or 4 caravels, namely, 1 or 2 by each one of them, a greater or less number, as they may mutually consider necessary. These vessels shall meet at the Gran Canary Island during this time, and each one of the said parties shall send certain persons in them, to wit, pilots, astrologers, sailors, and any others they may deem desirable.
Astrologers and pilots. Pilots and astrologers. Remember, can somebody remind me? We're going to look up the word pilot and see when that word was created, okay?
But there must be as many on one side as on the other, and certain of the said pilots, astrologers, sailors, and others of those sent by the said King and Queen of Castile, Aragon, etc., and who are experienced, shall embark in the ships of the said King of Portugal and the Algarves. In like manner certain of the said persons sent by the said King of Portugal shall embark in the ship or ships of the said King and Queen of Castile, Aragon, etc., a like number in each case, so that they may jointly study and examine to better advantage the sea, courses, winds, and the degrees of the sun or of north latitude, and lay out the leagues aforesaid, in order that, in determining the line and boundary, all sent and empowered by both the said parties in the said vessels, shall jointly concur. These said vessels shall continue their course together to the said Cape Verde Islands.
So when you agree with someone or something, you concur. I concur. I object. I concur. And Jones, Wagwan. Respect. MTGV TV, respect, Wagwan.
From whence they shall lay a direct course to the west, to the distance of the said 370 degrees, measured as the said persons shall agree, and measured without prejudice to the said parties. When this point is reached, such point will constitute the place and mark for measuring degrees of the sun or of north latitude either by daily runs measured in leagues, or in any other manner that shall mutually be deemed better.
So daily runs measured in leagues. Okay, so every single day they would have an astrologer and a pilot making sure that the straight line from east to west is in accordance, or everyone concurs. Spain and Portugal would get together, and someone, I think it was an Italian friend of mine. He's been all over the world, right? Good guy, and he told me that, did you know that Portugal, or Portugal, means orange? Like, it's actually the terminology that means orange. So, what popped into my head? The House of Orange.
This said line shall be drawn north and south as aforesaid, from the said Arctic pole to the said Antarctic pole. And when this line has been determined as above said, those sent by each of the aforesaid parties, to whom each one of the said parties must delegate his own authority and power, to determine the said mark and bound, shall draw up a writing concerning it and affix thereto their signatures. And when determined by the mutual consent of all of them, this line shall be considered as a perpetual mark and bound, in such wise that the said parties, or either of them, or their future successors, shall be unable to deny it, or erase or remove it, at any time or in any manner whatsoever.
So you can't deny it, you can't erase it, and you can't remove it. It's forever. Forever, ever, forever, ever.
And should, perchance, the said line and bound from pole to pole, as aforesaid, intersect any island or mainland, at the first point of such intersection of such island or mainland by the said line, some kind of mark or tower shall be erected, and a succession of similar marks shall be erected in a straight line from such mark or tower, in a line identical with the above-mentioned bound. These marks shall separate those portions of such land belonging to each one of the said parties, and the subjects of the said parties shall not dare, on either side, to enter the territory of the other, by crossing the said mark or bound in such island or mainland. 4. Item, inasmuch as the said ships of the said King and Queen of Castile, Leon, Aragon, etc., sailing as before declared, from their kingdoms and seigniories to their said possessions on the other side of the said line, must cross the seas on this side of the line, pertaining to the said King of Portugal. It is therefore concerted and agreed that the said ships of the said King and Queen of Castile, Leon, Aragon, etc., shall, at any time and without any hindrance,
Shall. Anytime you hear the word shall, it means in the future, which basically makes the treaty null and void because they're speaking of future tense when there is actually no future and there's no past. It's always in the present. So there's no real fact because they've never freaking been there. They just basically are reading a treaty that was agreed upon by individuals who did not like the way things were running over here. So, allies, all lies.
Sail in either direction, freely, securely, and peacefully, over the said seas of the said King of Portugal, and within the said line. And whenever their highnesses and their successors wish to do so, and deem it expedient, their said ships may take their courses and routes direct from their kingdoms to any region within their line and bound to which they desire to dispatch expeditions of discovery, conquest, and trade. They shall take their courses direct to the desired region and for any purpose desired therein, and shall not leave their course, unless compelled to do so by contrary weather. They shall do this provided that, before crossing the said line, they shall not seize or take possession of anything discovered in his said region by the said King of Portugal. And should their said ships find anything before crossing the said line, as aforesaid, it shall belong to the said King of Portugal, and their highnesses shall order it surrendered immediately. And since it is possible that the ships and subjects of the said King and Queen of Castile, Leon, etc., or those acting in their name, may discover before the 20th day of this present month of June, following the date of this treaty, some islands and mainlands within the said line, drawn straight from pole to pole, that is to say, inside the said 370 leagues west of the Cape Verde Islands. As aforesaid, it is hereby agreed and determined, in order to remove all doubt, that all such islands and mainlands found and discovered in any manner whatsoever up to the said 20th day of this said month of June, although found by ships and subjects of the said King and Queen of Castile, Aragon, etc., shall pertain to and remain forever in the possession of the said King of Portugal and the Algarves,
Forever.
and of his successors in kingdoms, provided that they lie within the first 250 leagues of the said 370 leagues reckoned west of the Cape Verde Islands to the above-mentioned line in whatsoever part, even to the said poles, of the said 250 leagues they may be found, determining a boundary or straight line from pole to pole, where the said 250 leagues end. Likewise all the islands and mainlands found and discovered up to the
Locono, Emperor, respect, respect.
Covered up to the said 20th day of this present month of June by the ships and subjects of the said King and Queen of Castile, Aragon, etc., or in any other manner, within the other 120 leagues that still remain of the said 370 leagues where the said bound that is to be drawn from pole to pole, as aforesaid, must be determined, and in whatever part of the said 120 leagues, even to the said poles, They that are found up to the said day shall pertain to and remain forever in the possession of the said King and Queen of Castile, Aragon, etc., and of their successors in kingdoms, just as whatever as there shall be found on the other side of the said 370 leagues pertaining to their highnesses, as aforesaid, is and must be theirs, although the said 120 leagues are within the said bound of the said 370 leagues pertaining to the said King of Portugal, the Algarves, etc., as aforesaid. And if, up to the said 20th day of this said month of June, no lands are discovered by the said ships of their highnesses within the said 120 leagues, and are discovered after the expiration of that time, then they shall pertain to the said King of Portugal as is set forth in the above. The said Don Enrique Enriquez, Chief Steward, Don Gutierre de Cardenas, Chief Auditor, and Dr. Rodrigo Maldonado, representatives of the said very exalted and very mighty princes, the Lord and Lady, the King and Queen of Castile, Leon, Aragon, Sicily, Granada, etc., by virtue of their said power, which is incorporated above, and the said Rui de Souza, Dom João de Souza, his son, and Arias de Almadana, representatives and ambassadors of the said very exalted and very excellent prince, the Lord King of Portugal and of the Algarves on this side and beyond the sea and Africa, Lord of Guinea, by virtue of their said power, which is incorporated above, promised and affirmed, in the name of their said constituents, saying that they and their successors in kingdoms and lordships, forever and ever, would keep, observe, and fulfill, really and effectively, renouncing all fraud, evasion, deceit, falsehood, and pretense, everything set forth in this treaty, and each part and parcel of it, and they desired and authorized that everything set forth in this said agreement and every part and parcel of it.
You heard that, right?
Of their said power, that it said Don Enrique Enriquez, Chief Steward, Don Gutierre de Cardenas, Chief Auditor, and Dr. Rodrigo Maldonado, representatives of the said very exalted and very mighty princes, the Lord and Lady, the King and Queen of Castile, Leon, Aragon, Sicily, Granada, etc., by virtue of their said power, which is incorporated above, and the said Rui de Souza, Dom João de Souza, his son, and Arias de Almadana, representatives and ambassadors of the said very exalted and very excellent prince, the Lord King of Portugal and of the Algarves on this side and beyond the sea and Africa, Lord of Guinea, by virtue of their said power, which is incorporated above, promised and affirmed, in the name of their said constituents, saying that they and their successors in kingdoms and lordships, forever and ever, would keep, observe, and fulfill, really and effectively, renouncing all fraud, evasion,
Renouncing all fraud. All fraud. Let me ask you a question. You own a car. You've been driving this car for forever. Now, since you've been driving this car forever, you park it. Park your car, you're chilling. You decide to go into the store. You go into the store to go get a Snickers bar, right? Or something healthy. Let's say something healthy, right? How's it going there, Abdul? Oh, hello, my brother. How are you? I'm good. How you doing? How's business? Oh, very, very good. Very good. Very good. It's good seeing you. Oh, always good seeing you too, my brother. Always good seeing you too. Here you go. Ching. Thank you. Thank you. You have a good day, okay? You too, my brother. You too. You come out. What the fuck? Where's my car? Yo, hey, Abdul. Check. Go in the back and check the outside camera that you have on the outside. My car just got stolen. No, for real. Go check it. Are you for real, my brother? Your car just got stolen? I'll be right back. Actually, come with me. Come with me. I'm gonna lock this. Go check it out. Let's see what the fuck is going on here, man. Motherfucker stole my motherfucking ride. Son of a bitch. Who the hell stole my car? Who the hell has the balls enough to steal my car?
Imagine a world where the most powerful country on Earth in 2021 wasn't the United States, but rather Spain. And instead of setting up military bases just in their own country, they also set up bases all around the world. Lots of those bases are in former colonies, but also there's a bunch in the United States. Just imagine this. You zoom into Fayetteville, North Carolina, and you see a huge military base. But it's not a US military base, it's a Spanish base on American soil, with lots of homes for the Spanish soldiers and their families, powerful weapon systems, aircraft, all run by the Spanish military. Go inside of one of these bases and it's all Spanish restaurants. Americans can't come in here unless they work for the Spanish government. And then imagine 100 more of these, all throughout the United States on American soil, and hundreds of more throughout the world. Or shift the scenario a little bit. What if it was a country that wasn't our ally? A country.
You realize that your car's been stolen and fraud has been committed, and now somebody else is driving your car. You're chilling one day after getting insurance. Insurance says, we can't do nothing for you. Sitting there chilling, and you see your car drive by. Motherfucker, that's my fucking ride. that's my car. How do I know? The dice is still in the fucking window. So you decide to jump on your bike, because you got a bike too. And you're gonna just chill back. You're just gonna ease back. Just ease back. And you follow. And you follow, and you follow, and you follow, and you follow, and you follow. And when you follow, you realize that this motherfucker just drove into a military base. Well, you can't follow into the military base now, can you? No, you can't. And you're wondering, whose flag is that? You check the flag, and you realize that don't look like the flag that we supposed to be protected. How is it possible that that flag is flying on a military base that's not the same flag that, the stars and stripes, and we done, sacrificed our children, and went to war over oil, went to war in the Middle East, some made up place that we're still trying to find Middle West. Does anybody know where the Middle West is? Please, I'd like to know where the Middle West is. I'd like to know where the Middle North is, and I'd like to know where the Middle South is. Because the middle of the East, oh, it's the middle of the East of the Cape Verde Islands. Oh, right, from Arctic to Antarctic, from east to west. Hmm, I see now.
Imagine a world where the most powerful country on Earth in 2021 wasn't the United States, but rather Spain. And instead of setting up military bases just in their own country, they also set up bases all around the world. Lots of those bases are in former colonies, but also there's a bunch in the United States. Just imagine this. You zoom into Fayetteville, North Carolina, and you see a huge military base. But it's not a US military base, it's a Spanish base on American soil, with lots of homes for the Spanish soldiers and their families, powerful weapon systems, aircraft, all run by the Spanish military. Go inside of one of these bases and it's all Spanish restaurants. Americans can't come in here unless they work for the Spanish government. And then imagine 100 more of these, all throughout the United States on American soil, and hundreds of more throughout the world. Or shift the scenario a little bit. What if it was...
Let's see. Hold on for a second. It's a Spanish flag. So my car is basically now controlled by the Spaniards, and is still controlled by the Spaniards since 1494. And we've been basically going to war for what? We've been dying and killing ourselves for what? Hundreds of military bases that are on American soil that do not belong to America. Hundreds. So my car's been stolen. And if I basically find out that my car has been stolen, I now call up the Popo. Ring. Yo, what's up, man? I just like to report my car being stolen. Buenos dias, how are you, sir? What can I do for you? I'd like to report my car being stolen. Is it possible to make a statement? No problem, senor. I saw it going into a Spanish military base. Click. Hello? Hello? Motherfucker. Damn it.
Affirmed, in the name of their said constituents, saying that they and their successors in kingdoms and lordships, forever and ever, would keep, observe, and fulfill, really and effectively, renouncing all fraud, evasion, deceit, falsehood, and pretense, everything set forth in this treaty, and each part and parcel of it, and they desired and authorized that everything set forth in this said agreement and every part and parcel of it be observed, fulfilled, and performed as everything which is set forth in the treaty of peace concluded and ratified between the said lord and lady, the king and...
The Treaty of Peace. The
of
Treaty
Castile, Aragon, etc., and the Lord Dom Alfonso, King of Portugal, may he rest in glory, and the said king, the present ruler of Portugal, his son, then prince in the former year of 1479, must be observed, fulfilled, and performed, and under those same penalties, bonds, securities, and obligations, in accordance with and in the manner set.
penalties, bonds, securities. Isn't your birth certificate a bond? Isn't a charge a penalty? Isn't fiat currency a security? Am I collateral to a debt from a foreign power?
Set forth in the said treaty of peace. Also they bound themselves, by the promise, that neither the said parties nor any of them nor their successors forever should violate or oppose that which is above said and specified, nor any part or parcel of it, directly or indirectly, or in any other manner at any time, or in any manner whatsoever, premeditated or not premeditated, or that may or can be, under the penalties set forth in the said agreement of the said peace, and whether the fine be paid or not paid, or graciously remitted, that this obligation and treaty shall continue in force and remain firm, stable, and valid forever and ever. That thus they will keep, observe, perform, and pay everything. The said representatives, acting in the name of their said constituents, pledge the property, movable and real, patrimonial and fiscal, of each of their respective parties, and of their subjects and vassals, possessed and to be possessed. They renounced all laws and rights of which the said part
Possessed and to be possessed. So, is that why you actually cannot own your property? Is that why we're just cattle to a corporation that is de facto?
parties or either of them might take advantage to violate or oppose the foregoing or any part of it. And for the greater security and stability of the aforesaid, they swore before God and the Blessed Mary and upon the sign of the cross, on which they placed their right hands.
So they swore before God and the Blessed Mary and the cross. What about Jesus? I thought, hold on for a second. I thought, what didn't you hear Jesus in the beginning of this treaty? Where'd Jesus end up?
Right hands, and upon the words of the holy Gospels, wheresoever they are written at greatest length, and on the consciences of their said constituents, that they, jointly and severally, will keep, observe, and fulfill all the aforesaid in each part and parcel of it, really and effectively, renouncing all fraud, evasion, deceit, falsehood, and pretense, and that they will not contradict it at any time or in any manner. And under the same oath they swore not to seek absolution or release from it from our most holy Father or from any other legate or prelate who could give it to them. And even though, proprio motu, it should be given to them,
Proprio motu, improprium prosana, motu proprio. Motu proprio. Motu propria. Motu propria.
given to them, they will not make use of it. Rather, by this present agreement, they, acting in the said name, entreat our most holy Father that his holiness be pleased to confirm and approve this said agreement, according to what is set forth therein, and that he order his bulls in regard to it to be issued to the parties or to whichever of the parties may solicit them, with the tenor of this agreement incorporated therein, and that he lay his censures upon those who shall violate or oppose it at any time whatsoever. Likewise, the said representatives, acting in the said names, bound themselves under the same penalty and oath, that within the 100 days
They bind themselves to the penalty and the oath, the careless vow to the deity. they bind
next
themselves.
Reckoned from the day of the date of this agreement, the parties would mutually exchange the approbation and ratification of this said agreement, written on parchment, signed with the names of the said lords, their constituents, and sealed with their hanging leaden seals.
Hanging leaden seals!
Which the said lords.
Ha! They seal it with their hanging leaden seals. Now, didn't they? Eh? I wonder what group of people on the land loves hanging people and burning crosses. Hmm?
The King and Queen of Castile, Aragon, etc., should have to issue, must be signed, agreed to, and sanctioned by the very
Little Yos. Wagwan, where I say, respect.
noble and most illustrious lord, Prince Don Juan, their son. Of all the foregoing they authorized 2 copies, both of the same tenor exactly, which they signed with their names and executed before the undersigned secretaries and notaries public, 1 for each party. And whichever copy is produced, it shall be as valid as if both the copies which were made and executed in the said town of Tordesillas, on the said day, month, and year aforesaid, should be produced. The Chief Deputy, Don Enrique, Ruy de Souza, Dom Juan de Souza, Dr. Rodrigo Maldonado, licentiate heirs. Witnesses who were present and who saw the said representatives and ambassadors sign their names here and execute the aforesaid, and take the said oath. The Deputy Pedro de Leon and the Deputy Fernando de Torres, residents of the town of Valladolid, the Deputy Fernando de Gamara, Deputy of Zagra and Sinete, Contino of the house of the said King and Queen, our lords, and João Suarez de Sequeira, Rui Lim, and Duarte Pacheco, Continos of the house of the said King of Portugal, summoned for that purpose. And I, Fernando Alvarez de Toledo, Secretary of the King and Queen, our lords, member of their council, and their scrivener of the High Court of Justice, and notary public in their court and throughout their realm.
The scrivener. I like that word. Scrivener. Come here, scrivener.
Throughout their realms and lordships, witnessed all the aforesaid, together with the said witnesses and with Estevan Vaz, Secretary of the said King of Portugal, who by the authority given him by the said King and Queen, our lords, to certify to this act in their kingdoms, also witnessed the above said, and at the request and with the authorization of all the said representatives and ambassadors, who in my presence and his here sign their names, I caused this public instrument of agreement to be written. It is written on these 6 leaves of paper, in entire sheets, written on both sides, together with this leaf, which contains the names of the aforesaid persons and my sign, and the bottom of every page is marked with the notarial mark of my name and that of the said Estevan Vaz. And in witness I here make my sign, which is thus. In testimony of truth, Fernando Alvarez, and I, the said Estevan Vaz, who by the authority given me by the said lords, the King and Queen of Castile, and of Leon, to make it public throughout their kingdoms and lordships, together with the said Fernando Alvarez, at the request and summons of the said ambassadors and representatives witnessed everything, in testimony and assurance thereof signed it here with my public sign, which is thus. The said deed of treaty, agreement, and concord, above incorporated, having been examined and understood by us and by the said Prince Don John, our son, we approve, commend, confirm, execute, and ratify it, and we promise to keep, observe, and fulfill all the above said that is set forth therein, and every part and parcel of it, really and effectively. We renounce all fraud, evasion, falsehood, and pretense, and we shall not violate or oppose it, or any part of it, at any time or in any manner whatsoever. For greater security, we and the said Prince Don John, our son, swear before God and Holy Mary, and by the words of the Holy Gospels, wheresoever they are written at greatest length.
Where's Jesus?
Greatest length. And upon the sign of the cross upon which we actually placed our right hands, in the presence of the said Ruy de Souza, Dom João de Souza, and licentiate heirs de Almada, ambassadors and representatives of the said most serene King of Portugal, our brother, thus to keep, observe, and fulfill it, and every part and parcel of it, so far as it is incumbent upon us, really and effectively, as is above said, for ourselves and for our heirs and successors, and for our said kingdoms and lordships, and the subjects and natives of them, under the penalties and obligations, bonds and adjurements set forth in the said contract of agreement and concord above written. In attestation and corroboration whereof, we sign our name to this our letter and order it to be sealed with our leaden seal, hanging by threads of colored silk. Given in the town of Arevalo, on the 2nd day of the month of July, in the year of the nativity of our Lord Jesus Christ.
I thought it was in the town of Tordesillas. When you really actually just go into the contracts or the treaties that were given, sometimes they just forget where they're actually at. I thought it was in the town of Tordesillas. Didn't you hear the town of Tordesillas? Now it's in the town of Arevalo.
Christ, 1494.
Oh, now they bring in Jesus, 1494.
94. I, the king. I, the queen. I, the prince. I, Fernando Alvarez de Toledo, secretary of the king and of the queen, our lords, have caused it to be written by their mandate. Doctor.
Doctor. Hello, doctor. Now, for those who weren't here, that is the Treaty of Tordesillas. It was created in Turtle Island, or Tortoise Island, or the Tortoise Isles. For the English and the Dutch, Tordesillas Islands. For the Spanish and the Portuguese, Tortoise Isles. It is forever. It is a treaty that was signed by them forever to basically let you know that we fall under a treaty that is forever. And they can't even go against it. Do you see? We are the fixtures of this here beautiful land. And if they want to go against it, they need to know that.
Imagine a world where the most powerful country on earth in 2021 wasn't the United States, but rather Spain. And instead of setting up military bases just in their own country, they also set up bases all around the world. Lots of those bases are in former colonies, but also there's a bunch in the United States. Just imagine this. You zoom into Fayetteville, North Carolina, and you see a huge military base. But it's not a U.S. military base. It's a Spanish base on American soil, with lots of homes for the Spanish soldiers and their families, powerful weapon systems, aircraft, all run by the Spanish military. Go inside of one of these bases and it's all Spanish restaurants. Americans can't come in here unless they work for the Spanish government. And then imagine 100 more of these, all throughout the United States on American soil, and hundreds of more throughout the world. Or shift the scenario a little bit. What if it was a country that...
We heard motu proprio or proprio motu. I'd like to show you a picture of individuals that were brought out of this land by the Spaniards and the Portuguese and brought over to the property of Japan. Now, we hear pan in the word and ja in the word. So it was in the 1500s that they were actually starting to take people out of here, bringing them all over the world. The only place you'll always hear is Pan-African, Pan-American, Pan-European. endemic. For anyone who wants to know, this is in the museum in Japan. Ja Rastafari. Pan. This is a depiction or a statue in the Japanese Museum of a Japanese samurai. I guess Tom Cruise wasn't the last samurai, was he? Now, for the next show, I'm going to go over the Berlin Conference. Actually, you know what? Let's go for the Motu Proprio, shall we? Because it seems like when I bring it up to law enforcement, they think that it's only in the USA. It's only in America. It's only in America. That doesn't apply to us. That's only in America. Huh. I guess you never paid attention in elementary school and realized that America starts from Arctic to Antarctic. That means from North Pole to South Pole, the Cape Verde Islands, according to the Catholic Majesties. Let's see. I'm all over the place right now. But there needs to be something clarified. Let's see. There needs to be something clarified. Don't you think? Don't you think we should clarify stuff? Don't you like that we clarified stuff? I want you to like, share, and subscribe. Isn't that what they say? Isn't that what they say? From September or from Sunday, March 28th to Sunday, April 4th, we have Holy Week in Spain. What is Holy Week in Spain? I'd like for you to just type that up and just check what Holy Week in Spain is. This is Holy Week in Spain. The Catholic Majesties. Does it look familiar? Does it look familiar? Does that look familiar to any Americans that's been screwed over, hung, burnt? Does that look familiar? Could the people in those pictures that you see I've heard the Moors say once that, oh, this is their holy garb that's being used, but this was actually created 400 years ago. Hmm. And I know people don't like Wikipedia, like it's just Wikipedia, But just for shits and giggles, let's see what's going on.
Holy Week in Spain. Published by Wikipedia. Holy Week in Spain is the annual tribute of the Passion of Jesus Christ celebrated by Catholic religious brotherhoods and fraternities that perform penance processions on the streets of almost every Spanish city and town during the last week of Lent, the week immediately before Easter. Description: Spain is known especially for its Holy Week traditions or Semana Santa. The celebration of Holy Week regarding popular piety relies almost exclusively on the processions of the brotherhoods or fraternities. These associations have their origins in the Middle Age, but a number of them were created during the Baroque period, inspired by the Counter-Reformation, and also during the 20th and 21st centuries. The membership is usually open to any Catholic person, and family tradition as an important element to become a member or brother. Some major differences between
Nah, I don't want to speculate, but I'm going to anyway. The same people that has the dunce caps, when you're bad and they put you in the corner, they put that cone on your head, tell you to look in the corner. And then all the kids are looking at you because you done screwed up. What do they call themselves? Oh, the Ku Klux Klan. Yes. Does that look similar to you? Or is it just me? Is it just me that the same people in white robes with pointy hats who burn crosses and hang Negroes, and yes, Negroes are American Indians, according to the Negro Act, which we will go over in a future show. Could they have been funded by the Catholic Church? Or could they be the Catholic Church? Or could they be actually Spaniards who are on American soil dealing with, certain individuals, getting rid of the riffraff, as they would say? And, the same group of people who we call Portuguese or Spaniards, right, are actually the same group of people we call French and Dutch and German. Could they be the same group of people that were the Nazis and the Jews? These are just popping into my head. Are these the same group of people that stole my car? That stole your car? Shall we continue?
Between Spanish regions are perceivable in this event. Holy Week sees its most glamorous celebrations in the region of Andalusia, especially in Granada, Malaga, and Seville, while those of Castile and Leon see the more somber and solemn processions.
Well, aren't those the same? Aren't those the same things? Aren't those? Is that Castile? Is that Isabella? Is No, say it ain't so. Not our illustrious queen. No, 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 not the queen. No, No, but it is in Spain, though, right?
Typified by Semana Santa at Zamora and Valladolid. This is a religious holiday. A common feature in Spain is the almost general usage of the Nazareno or penitential robe for some of the participants in the processions. This garment consists of a tunic, a hood with conical tip used to conceal the face of the wearer, and sometimes a cloak. The exact colors and forms of these robes depend on the particular procession. The robes were widely used in the medieval period for penitents, who could demonstrate their penance while still masking their identity. These Nazarenos carry processional candles or rough-hewn wooden crosses, may walk the city streets barefoot, and, in some places, may carry shackles and chains on their feet as penance. In some areas, sections of the participants wear dress freely inspired by the uniforms of the Roman legion. The other common feature is
the Roman legion. Is that Rome? No, not this. Nah, it can't be the same group of people.
Feature is that every brotherhood carries magnificent pasos, or floats with sculptures that depict different scenes from the Gospels related to the Passion of Christ or the sorrows of Virgin Mary. Many of these floats are art pieces created by Spanish artists such as Gregorio Fernandez, Juan de Mesa, Martinez Montañez or Mariano Benlacher. Brotherhoods have owned and preserved these pasos for centuries.
Was that why Trump was building a wall? To keep out? Did he know that? Did he find out that there was just too many Spaniards in America just coming across and causing trouble, joining police forces, and killing niggas? And no, I don't want to basically be the type of person that is going against something that somebody's beliefs or anything like that, but it does kind of look similar like the Ku Klux Klan, and we do know those guys like burning crosses and hanging niggas. Like, it's 400 years. What? Oh, when did it start? It started when? Let's see when it started. We gotta check this out. Descriptions. It must know. Nah. It started 400 years ago.
Centuries in some cases.
Is it 400 years of slavery? Is that what we were told?
Usually, the pasos are accompanied by marching bands performing marches processionales, a specific type.
Marches. It's accompanied by marches. Who likes to do marches? Certain people like to do marches. They love to march, don't they? March for freedom, march for peace, march for equality. Could it be that we've been so ingrained into a society that basically hates the fuck out of us and know that we can actually make claim to this freaking car, this incarnation, that we just march without the hoods? Mm. Oh shit. Oh shit.
Specific type of compositions devoted to the images and fraternities. Holy Week in Andalusia, Almeria. There are, in total, 26 brotherhoods in Almeria and 3 pre-brotherhoods. The most important brotherhoods are La Estrella, Prendimiento, and Estudiantes. Córdoba. Córdoba holds one of the most popular Holy Week in Spain. 37 brotherhoods take part in processions with elaborate pasos, which represents the scenes of the events of the Passion of Christ. Granada. It was declared a festival of international tourist interest in 2009.1, although there were processions from Granada in the 16th and 17th centuries. 2 was at the beginning of the 20th century when this tradition was extended and consolidated. 32 fraternities and 34 Nazarene courts participate. The Royal Federation of Brotherhoods and Brotherhoods of Granada is the body in charge of the regulation of the set of brotherhoods of the city. In this city, Christian brotherhoods and institutions were created from the taking of Granada in 1492.34. The processions will be extended in the 16th century with the Counter-Reformation, and there will also be some in the 17.2. However, the bulk of the brotherhoods, they were founded from the beginning of the 20th century. Point 2. At the beginning of the 20th century, the Archbishop's support and the resurgence of the local bourgeoisie led to a boom in Holy Week. Point 5. This revival began in...
Did you just hear a word? Did you just hear? I just heard a word. Did you hear a word? The bourgeoisie. Did you hear that word? The gatekeepers? The bourgeoisie. Yes.
19096 with
Boule.
6 with the percent.
Hold on for a second. Could niggas be under the hoods? Do you think that under some of those hoods is anybody ever?
6 with the procession of the Holy Great Burial. Point 7 in the 1920s. 7 new churches were founded. Brotherhoods of Penance. Point 5 in 1927. The Federation of Brotherhoods of Granada was created. 5 in a similar way to the Association of Brotherhoods of Malaga, created in 1921. In 1936, Federico Garcia Lorca wrote a narrative for Union Radio about Holy Week in Granada. Point 89. Since 1970, this tradition has suffered a certain decline, although it will recover from 1977. Malaga. For over 500 years, Holy Week of Malaga has been constantly present in the religious and popular feeling of people from Malaga. The Holy Week religious celebrations in Malaga are famous countrywide. Processions start on Palm Sunday and continue until Easter Sunday, with the most dramatic and solemn on Maundy Thursday and Good Friday. Images from the Passion on huge ornate tronos, some weighing more than 5.000 kilos and carried by more than 250 members of Nuestra Señora de la Esperanza, shape the processions that go through the streets with penitents dressed in long purple robes, often with pointed hats, followed by women in black carrying candles. Drums and trumpets play solemn music, and occasionally someone spontaneously sings a mournful seda dedicated to the floats as it makes its way slowly round the streets. The Baroque taste of the religious brotherhoods and associations, along with the great amount of processional materials that they have been accumulating for centuries, result in a straight stage of exuberant art, full of color and majesty. Many brotherhoods were affected by the burning churches in 1931, and an important part of their heritage was destroyed during the Spanish Civil War. In the years following it, revival was slow, but it recovered with much greater numbers than before. Also, by the 1970s, cofradias nuevas began to be formed in the city, and some old brotherhoods which had been forgotten were reorganized by young people as Salud, Descendimiento, Monte Calvario, and many more others to adapt to the changing times. Every year, the Passion Week in Malaga takes out to the streets a real festival perceptible by the 5 senses. Processional thrones carrying images that sway all along the entire route, thousands of penitents lighting and giving color with their candles and robes, processional marches, as well as aromas of incense and flowers filling the air as the processions pass by, and thousands of people crowded to see and applaud their favorite tronos. Holy Week in Malaga is very different from that celebrated in other Andalusian or Spanish places, and those who go to Malaga for the first time will be surprised, as the Passion Week there is not lived with meditation and silence, but it is full of happiness, noise, cheer, spontaneous status, and applause as the images pass by. Some tronos of Holy Week of Malaga are so huge that they must be housed in other places different from the churches, as they are taller than the entrance doors. Real walking chapels of over 5,000 kilos carried by dozens of bearers. There are also military parades playing processional marches or singing their anthems along the route. All of this does not imply a lack of religiosity, but it is just the particular way that many people from Malaga live their faith, folkloric gustos and/or feelings during the Holy Week. One of these military celebrations is that of the Spanish Legion, which parades the image of Christ of the Good Death together with the Legion's own military band and honor guard on Maundy Thursday. Very popular among tourists, locals, and military veterans.
You hear that? Military. You heard the word military.
Veterans. Seville. Seville arguably holds some of the most elaborate processions for Holy Week. The tradition dates from Counter-Reformation times, or even earlier. But Semana Santa de Sevilla is notable for featuring the procession of pasos, lifelike painted wooden sculptures of individual scenes of the events that happened between Jesus' entry in Jerusalem and his burial, or images of the Virgin Mary showing restrained grief for the torture and killing of her son. Some of the images are artistic masterworks of great antiquity. One of the most popular and beautiful image of the Virgin Mary depicting her sorrows as the Nuestra Señora de la Esperanza de Triana, La Reina y Señora de Sevilla. These pasos.
You can go check it out for yourself. Let's see. So archaic. But you heard that. That's Holy Week in Spain in March. Beware the Ides of March. And we have the military basically having the most illustrious procession. And you see brothers and sisters in Spain just loving this. I guess they don't hang people in Spain like they do here. Do a little bit of sacrifice here and a little bit of sacrifice there. It's no problem, just one or two. Just to keep, the rebellious Negroes on their feet. Just to, keep them a little quiet. Docile them. Just like Willie Lynch, pick the one that basically, is the strongest and rape his ass. Isn't that what they do in jail? Isn't that what they do in jail? Especially mostly American jail, American prison. Now, is now what they do for punishment. Don't mean to get so graphic. But the thing that I wanted to bring up, right, was the titles. Now, remember when I told you in the beginning to remember the titles, right? Remember those titles, because we're going to jump to the 1500s, right? We're going to jump to the 1500s. That was 1494. Just like we had, just like the, what do you call it? The time machine, right? I kind of miss the time machine. Me and my brother, Chief Ether. Okay. So we have now, we're going to listen to the treaty between Spain and Portugal concluded at Victoria, February 1524. And I told you, remember those titles. Okay, let's actually go back. Let's actually go back. I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna hold it because I really want to pee right now. And I'm gonna let you listen. But you're gonna hear the titles. Okay? Let's listen to the titles. This is how when you hear what they say in Revelation, whoever has an ear, let them hear, right?
Are physically carried on the neck of Costelleros.
Hold on. Let's get rid of that one.
Treaty between Spain and Portugal concluded at Tordesillas.
The titles.
June 7th, 1494.
Remember the titles.
Published by Avalon Project. Don Ferdinand and Dona Isabella, by the grace of God, King and Queen of Castile, Leon, Aragon, Sicily, Granada, Toledo, Valencia, Galicia y Majorca, Seville, Sardinia, Cordova, Corsica, Murcia, Jaén, Algarve, Algeciras, Gibraltar, and the Canary Islands, Count and Countess of Barcelona, Lord and Lady of Biscay and Molina, Duke and Duchess of Athens and Neopatras, Count and Countess of Roussillon and Cerdagne, Marquis and Marchioness of Oristano and Gociano, together with the Prince Don John, our very dear and very beloved firstborn son.
Okay. The titles. Everybody, I want you to put 1 if you heard the titles. Please. Humor me. Did everybody hear the titles? Did anybody out there hear the titles? Is anyone still with me? Am I still with you? Just 1 if you heard the titles. Because we're going to go to, this is 15, what is it? 1524, right? Now, 1524, this was after the destruction of the Aztecs, the Mayan, and the Inca. The Mayan took a little bit longer, right? But the Inca and the Aztecs, this is when they destroyed them. This, I want you to hear the title, the titles.
Heir of our aforesaid kingdoms and lordships.
Okay? So now we're going to hear the titles.
Treaty between Spain and Portugal, concluded at Vitoria, February 19th, 1524. Published by Avalon Project. Don Charles, by the grace of God, King of the Romans and Emperor ever August.
King of the Romans, Don Charles. That's the son.
Dona Joanna, his mother, and the said Don Charles, by the said grace, King and Queen of Castile, Leon, Aragon, the 2 Sicilies, Jerusalem.
Oh, to my Hebrew brothers. Y'all thought that Jerusalem was over there. Isn't that funny? Because you obviously heard the titles that was given. You always get a title after you conquered an area. They didn't fully conquer Tordesillas Islands or the Turtle Islands, because there's lots of them. Why is there a lot of them? You think that America is one solid place? Is that that's a lot of people think that America is one solid place, but majority of your cities is in low-lying areas, is in riverbeds. Shall we do that again? Because I need you to understand the titles. The titles is amazing. This is what was amazing about reading treaties. Because when I started realizing, when I went to court, I realized that there's only treaties and constitutions that run this land. That's it. Did I violate a treaty? Because you're saying I'm breaking your law. But the thing about it is, I am a fixture on this land, according to this old ass treaty that's forever. that these pointy hats and small hats rule, right?
Treaty between Spain and Portugal, concluded at Vitoria, February 19, 1524. Published by Avalon Project. Don Charles, by the grace of God King of the Romans and Emperor Ever August, Dona Joanna, his mother, and the said Don Charles, by the said grace, King and Queen of Castile, Leon, Aragon, the two Sicilies, Jerusalem, Navarre, Granada, Toledo, Valencia, Galicia, the Majorcas, Seville, Sardinia, Cordova, Corsica, Murcia, JN, the Algarves, Algeciras, Gibraltar, the Canary Islands, the Indies, the islands and mainland of the Ocean Sea. Count and Countess of Barcelona, Lord and Lady of Biscay and Molina, Duke and Duchess of Athens and Neopatras, Count and Countess of Roussillon and Cerdagne, Marquis and Marchioness of Oristano and Gociano, Archduke and Archduchess of Austria, Duke and Duchess of Burgundy and Brabant, Count and Countess of Flanders and Tyrol, etc. We have seen an instrument of agreement and treaty made in our name by Mercurino de Gattinara, our Grand Chancellor, and Don Hernando de Vega, Chief Knight Commander of Castile, and Don Garcia de Padilla, Chief Knight Commander of Calatrava, and Dr. Lorenzo Galindez de Carvajal, all members of our council, and Pero Correa de Tauguia, Lord of the town of Belas, and Dr. João de Faria, ambassadors and members of the council of the most serene and very excellent King of Portugal, our very dear and well-beloved nephew and cousin, and their representatives, the tenor of which is as follows. In the name of God Almighty, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Be it manifest and known to all who shall see this public instrument, that in the city of Vitoria on the 19th day of the month of February, in the year of the nativity of our Savior Jesus Christ, 1524, in the presence of me, Francisco de los Cobos, their Majesty's Secretary and Notary Public, and of the undersigned witnesses, there being present the Lords Mercurino de Gattinara, Grand Chancellor of their Majesties, Don Hernando de Vega, Chief Knight Commander in Castile of the Order of Santiago, Don Garcia de Padilla, Chief Knight Commander of the Order of Calatrava, and Dr. Lorenzo Galindez de Carvajal, all members of the Council of the very
Dr. Lorendez, doctor, who was a surgeon. And you wonder why they showed so many mutilations, ripping out the hearts in the Aztecs. Taino Chichilan showed such violence. We were such savages. But when you start reading real history and true history and the history that they actually leave for you, you can actually put things together and realize that we just keep getting fucked. They take you out of here. They bring you to other places. They were taking thousands and thousands of people out of here because according to Christopher Columbus or Cristobal Colon's notes, they were very peaceful inhabitants of the land.
The very exalted and very powerful princes, Don Charles, by the divine clemency, Emperor Ever August King of the Romans, and Dona Joanna, his mother, and the said Don Charles her son. By the grace of God King and Queen of Castile, Leon, Aragon, the two Sicilies, Jerusalem, etc., their qualified representatives, on the one part, and the Lords Pero Correa de Tauguia, Lord of the town of Belas, and Dr. João de Faria, both members of the Council of the very exalted and very excellent Lord, Dom John, by the grace of God King of Portugal, of the Algarves on this side of and beyond the sea in Africa, Lord of Guinea and of the conquest, navigation, and commerce of Ethiopia, Arabia, Persia, India, etc., Their ambassadors and qualified representatives as both.
So when they went like this, that means that's the line from Arctic to Antarctic from east to west. Everybody assumed that it's meant the cross. Actually, it is the cross, right? I wonder something. Could the KKK be a subdivision of the Spanish Holy Week, but they actually want to burn the cross because they're in the northern region? Because in the southern region, we have Spain and Portugal working side by side, right? But nobody ever asked the question, was Spain conquered? Was Portugal ever conquered? And it was conquered by the Dutch. We all know what the Dutch likes to do. They like apartheid. They don't give a fuck. They just want you over there and want to control you over there. As long as you're over there, you stay there, but I'm going to control you from here over there. They don't like the fact that there is a cross. They burned the cross, but they're funded by the cross. Because once they conquered, when was it? Let's see. Hold on. We ask questions. We always asking them questions. When was, let's see, when was war here? I'm gonna go here. Yeah. No. Boop, 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 boop. Who's liking the show so far? Quite interesting, eh? It's awesome when you actually start getting into the treaties. Being the harmony of the world. Yes, sir. Let's see. When was Portugal conquered? Mm-hmm. Let's see. Maybe I need to just do this. Dutch Portuguese War. There we go. Let's see. The Dutch Portuguese War began in 1602. How long after that was Plymouth Rock, wasn't it? See, where's the Dutch? North of France. They didn't like the fact that there was actually a treaty that covered from Arctic to Antarctic, and anyone going that way had to be under that treaty. They didn't like that too much. So they decided to go and fuck with Portugal in 1602. And when they conquered Portugal, right, they got that side of the territory, right? That's when they could get north of the territory. That's where you get the English and the Dutch. That's why all the treaties, like the Treaty of Ghent, was signed in the Netherlands. That's why you have the King of England, Ireland, and Scotland being the King of the Netherlands. That's how they got South Africa. But you have to understand that at that time, we have to put it in context because I'm just gonna I'll hold off on that because today, 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 we realized that this is why, right? This is why the Treaty of Tordesillas or the Treaty of Torres Island, right? The Treaty of the Treaty of Tordesillas or the Treaty of Torres Isles is basically still in effect, okay? Since the King of the Netherlands got into power in 2014, after the Queen of England was found guilty in a International Common Law Court of Justice in Brussels, France. And she was actually brought there by natives in Canada. Certain children went missing. And the brothers and sisters of these children that went missing went on a picnic with the Queen. And they went missing. They didn't return. Nobody knows what happened to them. They probably ended up on Epstein's Island with the prince. Yep. There's some freaky ass shit going on up in that royal family, boy. Some vampiric kind of shit. Okay? But this is why the largest military in the whole entire world is not the USA corporation. It is under the Treaty of Tordesillas, 1494, and we will conclude.
Imagine a world where the most powerful country on Earth in 2021 wasn't the United States, but rather Spain. And instead of setting up military bases just in their own country, they also set up bases all around the world. Lots of those bases are in former colonies, but also there's a bunch in the United States. Just imagine this. You zoom into Fayetteville, North Carolina, and you see a huge military base. But it's not a US military base. It's a Spanish base on American soil, with lots of homes for the Spanish soldiers and their families, powerful weapon systems, aircraft, all run by the Spanish military. Go inside of one of these bases and it's all Spanish restaurants. Americans can't come in here unless they work for the Spanish government. And then imagine 100 more of these, all throughout the United States on American soil, and hundreds of more throughout the world. Or shift the scenario a little bit. What if it was a country that wasn't our ally? A country like China. What if they had military?
Thank you very much for coming out and listening to boring ass treaties. But those boring ass treaties are the ones that run this land. As you can see, Christ or Jesus or Christ, the letter J wasn't, what do you call it, created until 400 years ago. You can look it up for yourself. gives you little things to do. But if it wasn't created until 400 years ago, where does 2,000 years or 3,000 years or 2,000 years ago actually trust them dudes that are over there? A Holocaust happens in Germany, but yet the United States is actually paying them. So, was the United States involved? Was USA involved in the Holocaust? Oh, Ford. Coca-Cola. IBM. BASF. They were all funding. They were funding Hitler. Okay. So basically, in order for them not to get kiboshed, they have to still pay out. But how do they pay out? We pay out. And I say we because Canada is a part of the US. Been independent since 1982. That's how old Canada actually is. Actually, no, Canada was in on a paper contract in 1777, Article of Confederation, Article 11. So yeah, we're Americans. They don't like to say they're Americans, but yeah, they're Americans. And now Justin Trudeau, oh, newsflash. Newsflash here. We have the president or the prime minister of Jamaica stating that no Jamaican or anyone can come to the island unless they get the jab. Prime Minister Trudeau has just announced that everyone has to receive the jab, and there is a 4-month leave period. No one in Canada will be going without the jab. Well, I've talked to a few people who are from Yad, and I let them know that Mr. Wholeness, Mr. Wholeness, Mr. Wholeness, Mr. Wholeness, shame. Basically, all the leaders has not taken the jab. JAB, jab, the vaccine. BAJ, badge, a badge of honor. The mark of the base, patents number 060606. The jab. See, the thing about it is when you actually look at a word, look at it from east to west and from west to east. In order to actually get the true meaning of a word, don't be fooled. So, Mr. Wholeness, you say that nobody's allowed to go back to the island unless they get the jab, the vaccine, the COVID-19 vaccine, or the CV-19. Sorry, don't want to be, on the company guidelines. But most Jamaicans basically say, go suck your mama in real time. Blood clot. Think man around put on no? That's what my friends say. And then I let them know, have you read the Constitution of Jamaica 1962? And we are going to go over that and see that Mr. Andrew Holness actually does not have or hold any power at all. He is a de facto, fictitious prime minister. The one who actually holds power is Patrick Allen, the Governor General. That's why we have to register to the Registrar General. Just to let any Jamaicans that are on here listening to what's going on. So, Mr. Patrick Allen, thank you very much, because now we know that constitutions and treaties rule this land. And the Constitution states that you are the supreme overlord under the Queen of England, and all you're there for is to serve the Queen and her successors forever. The Governor General is the one that appoints the Prime Minister. He appoints the Deputy Prime Minister. He appoints all of the cabinet. He also appoints the Justice Minister. And he appoints all the laws and rules to govern the said corporation that is owned and operated by the Queen of England. And you do not provide any service, none whatsoever, to the people of the island of Jamaica. And I wonder why it's in such a disarray. If anybody ever wanted to check out what Jamaica was like before 1962, you would realize that it was using the English pound, or the Angelish pound. And it actually had an economy that was higher than the UK, the United Kingdoms. Because seems like England was actually there. Under the Treaty of Tordesillas, what we just went over, 1494, the first colony that was created was on the island of Xaymaca, Xaymaca. And it was known as the colony of Santiago, Saint Diego, who was the first Taino Chichilan, or Taino, or Aztec as you like to call it, to convert to Catholicism. So therefore they honored him, because that was the contract to Christopher Columbus, to actually go convert and conquer. So he was the first Aztec to convert to Catholicism and was labeled Saint Diego, or Santiago. And that's why it was the colony of Santiago. Then it was conquered by Sir William Penn, who was a knight under the king at the time. Cromwell was the one who was in power in the United Kingdom. It wasn't United Kingdom at the time. It was London, England. So Sir William Penn had a son. His name is William Penn. And you can actually find those documents as the rights and privileges given to Pennsylvania, labeled after William Penn, which is actually private property. That's why you have the District of Columbia under Christopher Columbus, who basically him and his successors still operate this beautiful land, which is a stolen car. I think I'm going to end it on this note. I love you all. I thank you very much for joining me. Let's see who they are. Regent Storm, respect, respect. Omega, respect, respect. N Jones, Big Dog Philly, OG, N Jones. We got Little Yos in the building. Up in the chat, we got the best chat room ever. You know how we do. Who else we got up in here? Little Yos, Little Yos, Little Yos. Empress Copper Fox, Mud Up. Who else? Who else? Who else? Let's see. N Jones, Little Yos. Man. Like I said, when we go in, we go in. We got Bronze Flat Power God. Yeah, respect, respect. Lacono Emperor. Yes, I. MTGV. Respect. The Daryl Quantes. Respect, respect. We always give respect to the people, them. Nonetheless. Yes, yes. Respect, respect. Let's see what's up. And that's it. You know, it's just a small few. But the thing about it is that when we share knowledge, it's for everybody. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, Chinese, doesn't matter. Everybody should know this because you're here operating on stolen property. And maybe that's why they have so much military bases all over the place. Because the thing about it is they're scared. They're terrified. I know for a fact they don't sleep, or they can't really sleep. They think we're gonna uprise and get them. Nah, we're not gonna do that. We'll let the giant lion deal with you, since you basically tried to hide the fact that it's been 500 years, right? You have gatekeepers, the boule, the bourgeoisie, right? That's basically going against. I not even know. Is it? Could it be their own people? Not all skin folk is kin folk. I love that saying. That saying was I first heard that from Thai Data. Not all skin folk is kin folk. Because the thing about it is we have brothers and sisters that are on the continent of Africa, but could they be allied with? Because now we have a certain narrative that E.D. Du Bois, or Du Bois, sorry, he doesn't want to be called Du Bois. Du Bois and NAACP, right, was all about America, right? And Garvey was a Pan-African, and he wanted to go back to Africa. He spoke about going back to Africa. But you know what? We're going to be talking about that because we're going to go over the Constitution. And then we'll see. We'll actually see why when we get together and we organize, and we decide that we're going to do something for ourselves, why is it that we always get fucked over by our own? But are they our own, or are they actually made an oath to the treaty that is forever? Hmm? Could it be that not all skin folk is kin folk? And when I say kin, when you look up the word kin is a part of a family. Add the word G to it, that is the seventh letter of the alphabet, and you have king. And before you actually were a chief, you were a king. You were kin G, a kin of a family of G's, right? You've heard OG. Yo, what's up, OG? This has got to be the best land in the whole entire world. Why do I say that this here, Torres Isles, is the best land? Turtle Island is the best land. America is the best land. And I'm not talking about the USA, I'm talking about all of America. All my brothers and sisters down south, in South America. Oh, they had to succeed with the South. You know, the South was basically warring against the North. Well, it was South America warring against North America because there was a continental Congress. You see, there was a continental Congress, and it dealt with the whole entire continent. Why? Because there were cities from Arctic to Antarctic. People like to think that, oh, this was a desolate place. It was treacherous. We didn't know what we were doing. We, under manifest destiny, we had to go into Indian territory who were savages. They were savages. Were they really savages? Or did they actually just started getting pissed off because you started encroaching on cities that you like to call mounds now, that were along rivers, that you started damming? Hey, hold on for a second. That just popped into my head. How many dams are in North America? Hmm. Okay, let's have a game. Nobody look at your phone. Nobody check it out. I want to guess how many dams in North America. Please, I want you to punch it in the chat. How many dams? Just questions. These are questions that just pop into my head. How many dams? Who says? Okay, let's see. We got Big Dog Philly OG 8. Who? Come on, come on. Who's next? Who's next? We got 221 in. That is indigenous. I mean, Recon Leo. That's 221. Who's next? Who next? Come on. Come on. Don't look at your phones. Come on. We're playing a game. Let's have a game. We love games. We got Captain America. We got 200. Captain America says 200. Who's the highest so far? Okay, we got indigenous. Indigenous is one. Well, we'll see. Let's see. Dark Cameron. Dark Cameron. Okay, what's your guess? How many dams in North America? How many dams? Come on. Come on. We got indigenous. We got indigenous AME, right, with 212. That's the highest. We got 480 from man, I'm gonna need some glasses. Have you noticed that these screens are like freaking freaking like man, just burning the shit out of my eyes. Uh Awokan, Indian. Awoka. Ahuaka. 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 You know, that reminds me. You ever heard they're from here too. Okay, so we got the highest number is 480, right? Um, come on, who got the guess? We got Big Dog. We got Big Dog 24. Okay, who wants the answer? Yes, I'm gonna give you the answer. There is 99,000 dams in North America. There's 15,000 in Canada. Subtract 15,000 from 99,000. What you got? Hmm? You got 99,000 and a bitch ain't one. Hit me! 99,000 dams. 99,000. Okay. 15,000. Subtract 15,000 in Canada, and you have 14,999 dams in USA, the quadrant of the USA. So, could this place actually look like Tortoise Isles? Yes, it does. Could the rivers actually have gone from Arctic to Antarctic? Yes, it does. Do they go from east to west? Yes, it does. Now we actually dam the river, dry up the land, and now blame it on cars and global fucking warming. Yes, you do. Well, that's just the Dutch telling us that shit now, isn't it? The Spaniards, the Portuguese, the Dutch, the French, the English, the Russians, the Chinese, the Africans, telling us that well, it's global warming. We just have to, we need to be sustainable. We got Bill Gates. We need to be sustainable, you know. Like if we there's just too many people on this land, and isn't it funny how it takes us to actually figure shit out, solve a lot of the problems that's actually going on. When you dam the flow of a mighty river, Serpentine, Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent. Cities were destroyed in the 1500s, the 1600s, the 1700s, the 1800s, the 1900s. And when they got to the 1900s, they came up with some serious destruction known as the nuclear device. Where did they get the nuclear device from? When they were trying to find more gold, they came upon radium, plutonium. In radium or uranium city. Go look up Uranium City in Saskatchewan, Canada, north by the Athabasca Lake, which is now a lake. Why? Why is it a lake? Because you dammed it. So what is a dam? What is etymology? Let's go to etymology. What is the etymology? I love etymology. After learning etymology, when people actually speak and when I actually start reading, I see certain words and then it's like, wow, you just know, right? You're all the best in the chat. Trust me. You're all the best. What is the etymology? Etymology. What is the etymology of dam? Let's see. The etymology of dam. Damn! The etymology of dam. The dam. The dam. Dam is a verb. The dam is in movement. Isn't that funny? Dam is in movement.
Dam, v. Published by Online Etymology Dictionary. Middle English dampen, also damnen, dammen, late 13c. As a legal term, to condemn, declare guilty, convict. C. 1300 in the theological sense of doomed to punishment in a future state, from Old French damner, damn, condemn. Convict, blame. Injure, derivative of Latin damnare, to adjudge guilty. To doom. To condemn, blame, reject, from noun damnum. Damage, hurt, harm. Loss, injury. A fine, penalty, from Proto-Italic asterisk dapno, possibly from an ancient religious term from pi asterisk dap, to a portion in exchange, Watkins, or asterisk dhp no, expense. Investment, devon. The P in the English word disappeared 16c. The legal meaning, pronounced judgment upon, evolved in the Latin word. The optative expletive use likely is as old as the theological sense.
So when I walk into a court that was created by Christopher Columbus and given powers and possession, when I walk into any anchored vessel, anchored at dry dock, foreign vessel anchored at dry dock, which you call a court under your country, you are actually damming my 75% water body. Okay, I see. Do you see?
Dam and its derivatives generally were avoided in print from 18c to 1930s. The famous line in the film version of Gone with the Wind was a breakthrough and required much effort by the studio. Meaning, judge or pronounce, a work, to be bad by public expression, is from 1650s. To damn with faint praises from Pope. The noun is recorded from 1610s, utterance of the word, damn. To be not worth a damn is from 1817.
Ain't worth
to
a
not
damn.
give, or care, a damn is by 1760. The adjective is 1775, short for damn. Damn Yankee, the characteristic southern U.S. term for northerner, is attested by 1812 as damned. Related, damning, entries related to damn, aim damny, condemn, damage, damnable, damnation, damned, dang, darn, dem, goddamn, indemnity. Others are reading. Definitions of damn from WordNet. Damn, adj, used as expletives. Damn, adj, expletives used informally as intensifiers. Damn, v, wish harm upon, invoke evil upon. Damn. N. Something of little value. His promise is not worth a damn. Damn. ADV.
You heard that, right? To invoke evil upon. So I guess the dude in the robe that don't have no ginch that walks in and says, "All rise," and everybody stands up. Be seated. I'm ready right now with my gavel to damn some niggas. I'm gonna damn them to death. Damn them with some time. That's what I'm gonna do. Yes, I am. I'm not even on the same level, am I? I'm standing here, and he is here on this level. Are we actually playing the same game? No, we're not playing the same game. He's not even in court, is he? Because he's up here judging the game. So when I'm actually dealing with someone in these foreign anchored dry dock establishments, I'm playing a game with someone who's pursuing me, aren't I? I'm being persecuted, aren't I? I'm being served. What does serve mean? I'm being killed because this motherfucker thinks that he could kill me in the literal sense on paper. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God. Do you swear? Is that a curse? Let's switch that word out and put in damn. Do you damn? That means that I curse myself to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me. Let's switch that word out and put governmental ordinance department. So I'm cursing myself to tell the truth. So I'm actually not telling the truth, and I'm not. That's why, oh, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say or do can be used against you in the court of law. Holy shit. They did tell us. They did tell me. So I need to shut the fuck up. Guess what the king of the Netherlands title is? The king of silence. You need to shut the fuck up. Because it seems like when a slave catcher comes and basically pulls you over in an unmarked vehicle, oh shit, it's unmarked. You're getting fucked. Red and blue, red and blue, red and blue. Hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. Shit. Shut the fuck up. License and registration. Listen here, boy. Why aren't you saying something? Oh, use one of them dummies. Quit. anything you say or do. Oh shit, I wasn't supposed to do that either. Why? Because if this is my identity, then I am dead in the eyes of the law. It's fucked up. Because this is not my identity. I'm my identity. But since you have a weapon on your persons and you are a highwayman trying to basically parlay with me and you need funds, I wish not to participate in your pendulum swing. But I will have to comply because you say I'm a driver, but I do not wish to parlay with you. You are an inspector, aren't you? Yes, you are an inspector. Spectre. Oh shit, Spectre. Spectre's a spirit. Are you possessed right now? Do you have the devil within you? You need to be exercised. You need to go to the gym. Isn't it amazing the way we speak? Because whatever you say or do can be used against you in a court of law. And every time we go and get a liar, oh shit, we get a liar to represent us because I swear to tell the truth and whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help me, God. What's God backwards, dog? Who represents the dog? The Capitolian wolf? The Capitolian wolf, who's that? That's Romulus and Remus sucking on a dog titty. Then what the hell does that represent? That's the deity of Rome. Ain't it crazy? We just keep damning ourselves. And we get liars to represent us, and now all the jails are filled with brothers and sisters who could actually lay claim to a treaty that is null and void. We have brothers and sisters sitting in a cubicle box penalized for time that they'll never get back. We have brothers and sisters that have been thrown in there and been put in a situation that they're actually really not supposed to be in. And they basically go and get fucked by groups of people who actually put out an act, a scenario that actually makes you get fucked. Did you really have to steal? Did you really have to kill? Did you really have to do the shit you do? Did you really have to sell drugs? Did you really have to poison your community? No, you did not. Because if you actually read the Constitution and the treaties and certain executive orders, you would see that you could discharge your debt and offset your debts. Let's discharge on the public side and offset on the private side. You could actually have a claim of life and be a real person instead of Pinocchio, a puppet. Hmm. Isn't it weird? Isn't it weird? No, Your Honor. Your Honor. Your Honor. Your Honor. It's an honor. It's your honor. Your honor. If he says, Your Honor, I think Tenkara's guilty. He's guilty. Lock him up and throw away the key, Your Honor. Why the fuck would I call him Your Honor? Why wouldn't I call him My Honor? My Honor. Can I ask you a few questions? Proceed. Proceed. My seeds are still in my balls, Your Honor. Well, the question I'd like to ask is, what am I doing here? What, you don't understand the charges that are brought before you? Understand. You un UN. Let's see. If a vowel A-E-I-O-U is before a consonant, does it not cancel out the word? Oh, well, oh, yes. Yes, it does. Can I ask another question? Yes, you may. Who's this motherfucker? Oh, I object. No, really. Who the fuck is this? I never seen him before in my life. He's got some paperwork saying that I did this, and this, and I don't know who he is. Can I see his bar association card just for the record? Since we're making records. Well, Your Honor, I think that Tenkara needs to be represented by a lawyer. I'd like to be self-represented. Thank you very much. I don't know who this motherfucker is, but I think this motherfucker is with this motherfucker, and they're trying to fuck me. And I don't like to get fucked by dudes. You know what I'm saying? Hey, don't even look at me, motherfucker. Question. Oh, yes? Who the fuck are all y'all, just for the record? Because I know who I am, but I don't know who anybody in this room is. And I have no clue what I'm doing here. Who, what, when, where, why? Answer the question, motherfucker. After a while, you just start realizing that this land is perceived on fuckery. They put dicks everywhere. They call them obelisks. Obelisks were made in another land known as Egypt, where they like pointy things, like hats. And we saw where the pointy hat came from. Ours actually went up and had a top. Then, the top Since you were so close to the river, if it ever overflowed from the humidity and the rain and the condensation and the fall, then the water would rise and your house ain't getting flooded. But as we can see, that when levees break, shit kind of, goes underwater because you're under a fucking riverbed. And what you do? You rebuild back on the riverbed. And now we had the burning bush. We had Ahmad Obama. We had the orange guy. And now we have a dirty old man. This place is the best place on the planet. Why? Because we know drama. Mm-hmm. They make acts, drama, statutes, drama, and regulations. Drama. And now we're all forced to go under slavery again. This is a new form of slavery where your social credits determine a value of you, because in 1933 you were made cattle, property to a debt that could not be paid back since the 1700s of the creation of them creating their form of government. You see, if nobody's actually seen it, they don't give a fuck about this place. They just want to take, bring back to their place, build up their place, ship over their riffraff, take, keep shipping it out. Since 1933, they took the gold, Executive Order 6102. I keep going over this and I want you to have it in your head. There's no gold. Where's my fucking gold? What is gold good for? What is gold good for? It is good for blocking out radiation. What else is it good for? It's actually good for health. To have an excellent immune system. What else is it good for? It is good for the mind. When you intake it, it actually gives you thoughts. It builds strength. Mr. T was adorned in gold. Guess what? Motherfucker couldn't tell nothing. He walked around strong. Majority of people don't realize that diamonds are worthless. Gold is worthless. Silver is worthless. Every single thing, resources on this planet, is worthless. It takes this guy and you to give it value. The iPhone is worthless. Your house is worthless. Everything on this planet is worthless until you or I give it value. And once you give it value, then you agree or have an accord with others to say that this is valuable. Why are you so determined on saving my life when you've been fucking my life the whole fucking time? We're all in it together. No, we're fucking not. And I'll say it. I'll be the first one to fucking say it. we're not in it together because you have 150 years of flagrant breach of trust. According to your own Pope, Civil Order July 4th, 2014. We went over the Treaty of Tordesillas, and we went over the documents and the agreements to basically show you that the Catholic majesties still have power on this land. I showed you basically that all the military bases on this land are Spanish. They're not fucking American. Heil Hitler! Who fucking won World War II? Really? Oh, shit. Who won World War II? So now we have damn, right? And you see what damn means. We have 99,000 dams in North America, which is a curse. Wish harm upon, invoking evil upon. I'm 75% water. So, according to the Mayans, the Incas, and the Aztecs, water was the tree of life. And when Benjamin Franklin wrote his letter, America is a land of opportunity, they came here to chop down the trees, to basically destroy the Continental Congress and invoke evil onto the land. Motherfucker. Interesting, isn't it? So, that's D-A-M-N. What's damn? D-A-M. Let's see. D-A-M. That is also a verb and a noun. We have to understand that a noun is a no word. A noun is a person, place, or thing. Person. Am I a person? No. And I argued this in court. He kept calling me this person. I said, I'm not a person. Yes, you are a person. You're a person. I said, no, I'm not. I'm not a corporation. Yes, you are a corp. You're a person. No, I'm not. And all you have to do is just ask questions. What's the definition of a person? Hmm? What's the definition of a person? Anyone? Etymology. Go get yourself a dictionary. I want an etymology dictionary. That's what I want. If you don't mind, sometimes I just go off. I go off.
Holy Week in Spain.
No,
Published by
I
Wikipedia.
don't want
Holy Week in Spain is the
Spain.
annual tribute of the Passion of Jesus Christ, celebrated by Catholic religious
don't.
brotherhoods
See?
and fraternities that perform
See?
penance processions
Wow.
on the street.
This phone is iPhone. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, iPhone. 9 phone. It does what it wants sometimes. But damn, let's go see what damn is. Let's see what damn says. To obstruct or restrain a flow by means of a dam. 1400s. Noun, a barrier across a stream or water to obstruct its flow. Animal, let's see. Animal, mother, female, parent of a what? Quadrupt? What's a quadrupt? Quadrupad. Quadrupted. I have no clue. I'd have to look that up. So basically, it is the creation or the restriction of a river or stream. So basically, it's cursing the river, cursing it. You're cursing the water. And you wonder why there's global warming? Because you guys keep fucking up the land. You poison the land with Monsantos and poisons and all this kind of stuff, BASF. You restrict the flow of people who are migratory, that go where the food is. You keep them locked up in cities and their little region and say, oh, you have to work. So we work and we work hard. And basically, if I get $10, right, I have to give $5 to a government that says that they're building roads and they're taking care of schools and they're basically healthcare and all this kind of stuff. And they're doing the stuff that basically I can't do. They say I'm a minor. What's a minor? Someone who can't handle their own affairs. That's what a minor actually is. So they take five and leave me with five. So basically, my hard-earned time, if I'm actually going somewhere to work for someone, I'm working half the time. I'm only half. I'm valued. I'm worth 10, but I'm only, the value of my labor is 5 an hour, every hour. So if you're working for somebody, I suggest you cut it in half, and that's what your value is. You're making $20 an hour, you're working for $10 an hour. You're working for $50 an hour, you're working actually for $25 an hour. And if you're good, you can save up and then you can get your own house. You can't just go out into a field and start building your own house. Oh, no. Your house has to be built for you. It must be, the land must be surveyed. Oh, did you know that that's the highest form of government? The survey company? That's the highest form of government. Because why? Under the doctrine of discovery, they are discovering the land all over again. Remember, every single day they have to go at the weights and measures. They have to measure. So I suggest that to our illustrious leaders who should be coming up with treaties, open a survey company. How many survey companies are here? There's actually 300 survey companies in Canada. Well, in Alberta. What are the survey companies? 300 of them. They belong to the old 300. After a while, you have to realize that majority of the people who get fucked just don't give a fuck. The truth is the truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help me, the Governmental Ordinance Department. Oh, hey, do you believe in God? Do I believe in the Governmental Ordinance Department? Yes, I believe in the woman being the head of the government. I don't believe in men ruling. You guys fuck up too much. Maybe there would be more of a empathetic, sympathetic reasoning. That's why it was more of a matrilineal instead of patrilineal organization. But then again, once every month, there'd be a war problem. Now we have Camilla Harris. Oh, Camilla Harris. I don't know. Camilla Harris done locked up more brothers than any prosecutor out there. Mr. Joe Biden has implemented more laws with fear of the so-called Negro race. Them together now, every single person has to get a jab. I wonder why. Could it be to actually put nanodust? Hitachi nanodust. Go look it up. Hitachi nanodust was created, and Bill Gates stole the patent. He stole the idea and patented nanodust called nanoparticles and put cryptocurrency to it. Crypt. Still, you guys couldn't find the book of life, could you? You're only still dealing with the book of the dead. You still don't know what the hell. You guys still dealing with what do you call it? Poltergeist and specters and inspectors and you know what I mean? Like morticians, mortician's age, death pledges. Just couldn't find the book of life, could you? To balance everything out. Isn't that funny? But I guess I should end it. I've been talking for 2 hours and 53 minutes. Holy, I'm long-winded, aren't I? Hey, long-winded. Let's see. Hardline boss, Wagwan hardline. What are you saying? I hope I pronounced all these names right. But you know what? I'm telling you something, man, Jones. Do not. You know what? All this knowledge, it's not. It's not a negative thing, right? Negative and positive is the exact same thing. You do realize that, right? It's the exact same thing. It's just different aspects, right? We've been going through negativity for so long, but here we are still smiling, aren't we? We still can actually laugh. We still can actually learn. We're still alive. See, if they're going to put nanobots in you, who remembers what was that one? What's that one with Neo? What's that movie with Neo? What's that movie? Hardline boss respect. What's that movie? What's that movie? What's that movie with Neo and he was flying and Matrix? Matrix, yes, Matrix. You remember Matrix? You remember where they got him in that car, that nice car, that black car, and they basically did an electromagnetic shocker on him, right? And what happened to that thing? That thing's like they took that and it came right out of his belly button, right? Well, what disrupts nanobots or nanodusts? An electromagnetic field. Why do you think they want to block out the sun? I thought it was because they're vampires and they freaking can't even stand in the sun. The sun don't like them. You know what I mean? When you actually kill the son of the sun cursed you and you can't stand in the sun. So therefore, you're not liked. They got together. They had an accord. They even created a Treaty of London. The Treaty of London, a secret pact. They'll come to the aid of each other. That's why you have Spanish bases on USA soil saying that, oh, we had our independence and our war of independence. That's just for you. That's just for dumbass niggas, for real. I'm sorry, but we're stupid as fuck. Because we divide ourselves, devalue ourselves to stand on one side or the other, not realizing that the Democrats and the Republicans are actually the same fucking thing. John Madison created them. 17 something. It's called the Democratic Republican Party. How did I know this? Because the symbol of the Democratic Republican Party is a bullseye. Right? Why bull? The papal bull. We went through it, right? You ever notice even in the stock market, there's a bear and a bull? You have a bull run when it goes up. You got a bear when it goes down. You want to buy the dip, buy low, sell high. I started getting into stock market. I suck. I suck. I'll tell you straight out, I suck. I know how to pick them, but I don't know how to buy the dip. Because every time I buy the dip, it goes lower. And then after I lose in the dip, and then after if I hold, it'll go higher. So I started realizing, you know what? I'm going to start investing in companies that are actually going to do something good, something like that's going to be beneficial for the future. I started a new YouTube channel, and it's called Black Coin Lover. Black Coin Lover, gonna get rich tonight. Yeah. Black Coin Lover, we're doing it the crypto right. Because it seems like cryptology, nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about it. I look around, there's like maybe one brother that's doing it. Just one or two. But Executive Order 748, they're getting rid of cash and they're basically bringing in digital currency and digital ID. After reading 40 freaking pages, they just sneak it in. They're just like, and that's why we need the jab, or we're going to get the jab, because when artificial intelligence sees you, they know your social credits. Since everybody is communist now, they've been communist since the United States of America has been communist since the Treaty of London, 1915. That's when they went communist. You can look it up because the Treaty of London brought in Russia. And Russia, add a P to it, is Prussia. They don't go too far from who they are. They don't have any new ideas. They don't have any new inventions. They don't have any nothing. You think Elon Musk is innovative? Elon Musk ain't innovative. Elon Musk actually got a grant to start Tesla, an African American grant, because he's African American. And we keep thinking that all of these things pertain to us, African Americans. He's from South Africa. He now lives in America. He is considered an African American. He's a brother from another mother. Maybe light skinned, but he's still a Northern European, Southern African American, African American. And the Tesla car is old technology. The first car that was created was electric. Yep. Created by a brother. Majority of Tesla's inventions, I'm thinking he was actually deciphering Egyptian, Mayan, Incan, Aztec, all the different, they call it occults, right? Two people in this world did that. Napoleon was the first. Napoleon was the first who went across all of Europe, all of the Middle East, Africa. Didn't like the fact that everywhere he went, he saw big nosed niggas looking at him in a statue. Thou shalt not worship any idols. But yeah, we're good at making things that look like us to remind us that we were here. We've been there and done that. But yeah, big nose niggas looking back at him. And his wife was a half-breed Negro who hated Negroes. There's a lot of black people who hate black people. There's a lot of Chinese people who hate Chinese people. There's a lot of East Asians who hate East Asians. There's a lot of Africans who hate Africans. You know that, right? There's a lot of Americans who hate Americans. There's a lot of Europeans who hate Europeans. But one thing about the Europeans, they will come to the aid of each other because they create treaties. Every time they come together, they will create a treaty. They will have a piece of paper stating what they're going to accord, they're going to agree upon. And then once they leave, they'll be like, okay, fuck you. I'll see you tomorrow. All right? We keep thinking, oh, it's a black and white thing, it's a black and white thing, but who kills more of us in this world other than us? Freaking sad. There is no new inventions, like I keep saying. Cryptocurrency is not new technology. Go to the bank machine. Go to the bank machine. That's cryptology. That's cryptocurrency. You can't hack the bank machine. No, well, yes you can, and that's why some get hacked once in a while, right? Do you remember those movies where you see the guy walks in, he takes his card, it's hooked up to a string, he puts his card in, he goes like this to his little computer, and then basically you see money just starts spewing out? That's cryptology. What cryptocurrency is taking away the bank, all the rules and regulations and all that kind of stuff, and all you have is a card in the bank machine. That's it. That's cryptology. No new technology at all. Nanodust, nanoparticles, robots. Robots has been around. Artificial intelligence, it's been around. There's nothing new under the face of the sun. Not a thing. We're just coming back to what is it? Genesis and Revelations at the same time. The beginning and the end actually is the same spot. It's called the present. It's us who give it value. But there's now a group of people that basically wants everybody to have these nano particles in them. Have you ever noticed before this whole pandemic, okay, before all of this, you had people, um, you had people talking about, oh, the vaccine, there's this and this and that. But then you have how many people have been given the vaccine? But you don't see anything on social media. You don't see anything on the news. You don't see anything about those people after. You see leaders are sitting there, you know, they're all sitting there putting their arms in, and they're just getting the shot, right? They're getting the shot, but you always see the finger or the hand is covering the needle going into their arm. You ever notice that? Do we know if that's a real needle? Do we know if that's a real vaccine? Are these companies vaccine companies? We need to start asking questions, because when you start asking questions, you become the king and the queen. Actually, we don't want to be kings or queens, do we? We want to be kings. Do we want queens or do we want empresses? Because there's only one emperor of an empire, but there's many kings. There's lots of empresses, but there's a vowel before a consonant. So yeah, queens. And have you noticed that it's dudes who dress up as girls are called queens? So could the queen be a dude? Mhm. Questions. 3 hours and 10 minutes. Long winded. Let's see. I first heard of crypto in 2005. Did you buy any? Hardline? Yes, they have retractable needles. I did see that. I actually seen my first retractable needle I've ever seen was on set. Was on a movie set. And I was like, whoa, that's cool. But yeah, I don't like needles. I don't like needles at all. And now we're being forced in Canada, we're actually being forced to all get the jab, to get vaccinated in 4 months. That's the timeline that Prime Minister Trudeau has given for all of us because we're all in it together. Yes, we all are. No, we fucking ain't. We're not in it to fucking together. I'm sorry. If you got a fucking weak immune system, you know what? Go get a washout. You need to wash out the doo-doo inside your blood clot gut. Why? Because the doo-doo is the one that's rotting your belly and giving you a low immune system. 80% of your freaking immune system is in your gut. We learned that in elementary school. Wake the fuck up, people. If you are fat and overweight, you're not fat. You're not overweight. You're actually starving. Take it from a personal trainer. That's what I went to school and took a course. Yeah, I took a course in it. You're actually starving. Your body is starving. It's actually saying the cells in your body, since you're a one cell organism, I'm a one cell organism, so are you. Every other cell is a duplicate of the one cell. Once it got into the egg, you chopped off the tail, you're one cell. Inside that one cell, what did it do? It started duplicating itself. It started splitting itself into two. Started doing this. Started doing this. That's what it did. Okay? And so on and so on and so on. It just started duplicating itself. 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. That's how it did. It just duplicated itself. You're a one cell organism. Every single thing on this freaking planet is one cell. Yes. So now understanding the cell, you realize that when you're overweight, you say you're fat, you're not fat. You have a lot of stored calories. You have more stored energy than a skinny motherfucker like me. You have more energy than I do. You stored yours like a hungry chipmunk. You think you're fat. You're not. You're full of shit. Let's get to the point. You're full of shit. And you need a washout. When last did anyone of us, anyone here, when last did anyone on this talk get a washout? Put a 1 if you got a washout recently. If you don't shit 3 times a day, you need a washout. The cell now comes to the intestine, right? And it's trying to find nourishment because it just got oxygen. It's stored up with oxygen from the lungs, and it now is going to find nourishment. It goes to the intestine, and it's now wanting nourishment from the intestine. Well, guess what? This is your colon, right? And instead of looking like this, it looks like that. Tiny, little tiny hole. See it? It's like a plumber's pipe. Anyone ever seen a plumber's pipe? Hold on for a second. got myself my book here, right? And every single page is taken up. Why is every page taken up? Because I invent shit. I solve problems, right? This would represent your intestines. Okay? Your intestines, once you eat something, it turns into calories. It is a beautiful biological nuclear device. Why do I say it's a nuclear device? Because it can actually take matter, break it down to its particles just to give it to a cell. Do you see what I'm saying? That's what your intestines look like if you're fat. This hole represents food going through shit. They call this feces, right? Feces. The fee that you have to pay for C shit. It's all shit. Okay? The cell the cell, right, goes to the intestines looking for the nourishment that comes from what you eat. Remember, anything you put in your mouth, it turns to calories. I don't care if it's a cake. I don't care if it's a vegan food. I don't care if it's whatever. Whatever you put in your mouth, you will actually go down into your stomach. Your stomach is the what do you call it? The nuclear what would you call it? The particle accelerator. How's that? The flex capacitor. You remember Back to the Future, right? So you eat something, it goes into your flex capacitor, right? It gets broken down, and then you start ding, 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 ding. It can charge. When it charges, right? These cells need to go here to find the nourishment, right? It basically goes through your flex capacitor, and basically, if it's clogged up like a plumber's pipe, your shit comes out small, heavy, right? That's why we all put toilet paper in there so that basically when it drops down, what's it dropping down? It's dropping like a lead piece. Because your intestines, there's bacteria in here that's still actually right? There's bacteria inside here, good or bad, that's breaking that down, right? But the thing about it is certain foods that we eat, like meat, right? Like a lot of sugars, okay? Um, Processed foods and stuff like that stick. It's like glue. A lot of bread and all that kind of shit. It's like glue, sticks, and certain parasites. What the parasites are doing is making a colony. See what I'm saying? So, if you have a colony, you're a parasitical individual. Now, since the 1600s, we've had parasites colonizing this beautiful land. cursing now and damning the place. Now, we, the cells, can't find nourishment. Once the cell finds the nourishment, what's the cell doing? The cell is actually going back to the central nervous system and saying, there's no nourishment. There's no food there. I just went there. There's no food. There's no nourishment. Please, can you tell the brain to go find us some food and eat some more? So the brain says, I just ate. What are you talking about? There's no nourishment. Well, we're here starving. Hello? The fuck are you doing? Fasting? And what does it do? It goes out and finds more food. So we start putting more in our flex capacitor. We start eating more and eating more. And guess what? We start storing those calories. The little bit of calories that we actually get from the intestines, we go put it there and put it there, and we put it closest to the muscle. We start putting it close to the muscle. And all that so-called fat, which is derogatory, you might as well just say all that nigga that's all close to the muscle, under the skin, just under the layer of skin, they call it fat. It is a derogatory term for stored calories. Those stored calories now are closest to the muscle. Reason being is that the muscle is the actin and myosin, the electromagnetic field that goes like this. That's all it does. Contract, release, flex, release, flex, release. And millions of strands, like Geppetto's puppet, is wrapped around like an X all across each bone to stabilize it. You have certain group of muscles that are slow twitch muscles and a certain group of muscles that are fast twitch muscles. That's on the outside. Now, the thing is fat people are starving. Fat people are starving. It's the opposite. A lot of people think, oh man, that dude's a pig, but he's actually starving. Because he's trying to find the food to feed the cell and there's no food. Because his belly is full of shit. And the thing is, there's no rib cage. There's no cage. There's no bones that protect your liver and your kidneys and your what do you call it? Your intestines, your small and large intestines. There's no bones. That means that you can use your phalanges and touch them. Start massaging your belly. Massage it. You'll find knots. You will find knots. That's big pieces of shit that basically cannot go through your bowel system. Once you start helping yourself, you'll feel better. But 80% is in your gut. That's your immune system. 80%. And these people don't want to say, hey, you know what? You need a washout. Maybe you should take certain herbs. Maybe you should drink more water. Stop eating so much garbage. No, you're going to need a vaccine. Where's those people who got the vaccine? Where are those people? So who is actually pulling the strings? Who's pulling the strings? Who's pulling the strings? Who is pulling the strings? Who's telling these people that they need to, what do you call it? That they need to get a shot? Who? Who has been in control this whole fucking time? Who?
Imagine a world where the most powerful country on Earth in 2021 wasn't the United States, but rather Spain. And instead of setting up military bases just in their own country, they also set up bases all around the world. Lots of those bases are in former colonies, but also there's a bunch in the United States. Just imagine this. You zoom into Fayetteville, North Carolina, and you see a huge military base. But it's not a US military base, it's a Spanish base on American soil, with lots of homes for the Spanish soldiers and their families, powerful weapon systems, aircraft, all run by the Spanish military. Go inside of one of these bases and it's all Spanish restaurants. Americans can't come in here unless they work for the Spanish government. And then imagine 100 more of these, all throughout the United States on American soil, and hundreds of more throughout the world. Or shift the scenario a little bit. What if it was a country that wasn't our ally? A country like China?
A country like China. Because we're going to go over that too. You see what I'm saying? Everything is connected, whether anybody likes it or not. Because if I take away the water, please tell me where the border is. Because this huge imaginary line, the imaginary line in the Treaty of Tordesillas, where two countries, Spain and Portugal, has divided up the world, and Portugal controls the east, and Spain controls the west. So who's been in control? Thank you very much for coming out. Respect to everybody. J Mac, JP, respect. Thanks for coming in. But I want to thank you all, and I want to bid you adieu.